All right, peace, peace, peace. Well, hopefully, most high in your house shall blessing your day. By His mercies, you're consumed. I'm actually a little tired. I'm just gonna do it. Yeah, man, because I want to go talk about something real quick, man. Because I wasn't going to probably talk about this day today, but I was like, no, it was in Proverbs 18, so I was like, no, I'll go into it a little bit, man. Because a lot of times too, like yeah, let's go out there showing that love and kindness to one another, man. Just it's another day we're alive and one, and the Most High in your house has body and also naturally alive, so spiritually alive, but yeah, man. Hey, I want to talk about something too, because a lot of times too, like and this is not. This was let me. How do I say this too? Because honestly, this is this is honestly because I was just thinking about this account the other. No, I was watching brother somebody firstborn class, and he mentioned this a lot of times too, because even if you in the word out the word, but he mentions too. But a lot of times, a lot of times, no, yeah, yeah, Yes, 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 yes. Let me go into this because you know what? This is actually perfect. Wow. Because I actually know a brother I was at work. I think I mentioned this before, but a brother I was like kind of doing something for. Like he was kind of, out. He wasn't working out. I actually got reached back out to him, but brother, you know, he wasn't even like he was trying to get his things together, thing of that nature, man. And this is what a lot of brothers do. A lot of times in the word and outside the word, but it's what Jake does. It's a lot of our brothers do, and we gotta realize we had to have our stuff together too as well, because he was just looking for a job, looking for employment, things of that nature, and he kept talking like while I was helping him at the while he wanted my assistance. We had like a little meeting, like, he kept talking about, listen, if I, like, I just want a woman doing this and this. And I'm like, listen, brother, I'm like, I hear you, but brother, like, you don't even have, like, a job right now. So it's just like the priorities is messed up. But also, too, man, going to that, because but the shout out to the brother sent me the first one, too, because, like, a lot of times too, like a lot of like brothers, a lot of even men, for example, like have to have like they want a Proverbs 31 woman, but whether they're in the word or two, even out the word, but a lot of times too, you gotta realize like even when that though, like you gotta do like we gotta do our part of the bargain as well with that. I'd say not to say you, I mean like not excluding myself, but like we gotta do our part of bargain as well. Like there's a like the brother somebody first one said, like there's certain type of man you have to be. You have to be actually one. You have to be like respected from other men. You have to have that respect to even get that. Now sometimes, which I'm gonna get later on, like certain like they had you see it in the movies all the time, which is kind of true, but to even though that's another thing too, because a lot of times too, like I think when I used to watch AMC, I used to watch the film review film critic from Canada, John Campion. He pointed this out one time, and a lot of times too. I used to watch the old movie channel AMC Movie Talk, and he would point out this out a lot too, and it's very true. But even in life, sometimes it's true, but then it's again it's a balance thing, because like a lot of times too, we see it like in the movies things of that nature when like a certain man he wants a woman, but he's with but she's in the relationship already, even though like he even pointed out, even though like a lot of times too, and they always make that just guy just like asshole, the Nabal type, which I'm about to talk about Nabal later on. They just always make him that type, even though they don't focus on the fact that he's coveting somebody else's like a woman, he's coveting somebody else's wife or woman or like possession things of that nature, because like so like Sarah Kim says he that giveth the wife give possession, but he's just coveting something that belongs to somebody else. He's coveting somebody else's wife, another man's woman, things of that nature. Even though that, but a lot of times too, but like even movies, different TV shows, things of that nature, they always do that. Like I never even thought about like when he said it. Like when I used to watch it, I was like, oh yeah, that is true, man. They always do that. But sometimes in life that's true, but still, it's like that's still it doesn't matter. That's still like unless the Most High takes him out, like he did in the ball or something like that. That's still another man's wife. You can't do that, man. So no matter how who he is, like so you still can do that, because that's you're just as bad as that man's character for doing that, for coveting after that. So so yeah, man, and I noticed that too, man. I said it to say because I noticed that too. They always do. Now I actually mentioned that to my actual brother one time. He said, "Well, Omar, isn't that true?" I was like, "Yeah, it's true. From what that usually happens, but still, that's like even though but that a lot of times too, they just like movies, TVs, things of that nature, like they just don't focus on the fact that okay, even though I want what this man has, even though I want his woman, I want his wife, I want his woman, whatever. Like I don't know, that usually happens. But I said it to say, man. But I said all that to say, man, because for a lot, even I said to say sometimes too, like yeah, even men like those a lot of times too, like they could they can have like good women. They can have like Proverbs like 31 type woman. But they one Proverbs 31 woman fears the Lord, so you can't get that. They don't believe more in the word, but but um one even outside the word, if it's a good woman and things of that nature, but also too like hey, that happens in the word. We saw that with the ball, which I'm gonna get into. But listen, but like the brothers from Assembly Firstborn said, man, like a lot of times too, like a lot of times like um a lot of us brothers we could want that. I don't like I can't exclude myself either because like that can happen. But listen, there's a certain type of man you have to be for that as well, man. Now can you get a good woman, a woman like that? Like of course that what I'm about to read in Proverbs 18, of course that can happen. But there's a certain level of respect you have to have, like from even other men or even from your peers, or even from like community you have to even get that, man. So actually, let's get into it real quick because I was just thinking about this account. I was thought about this account popped in my mind. But I was like, you know what? This kind of lines up with that, man. Because honestly, like David had that respect, man. He like because but doesn't Proverbs 21, 31, 23 says, listen, his man is no her husband is known in the gate. So there's a level like the brother somebody first one said, like he said, there's a certain level of respect that that you have to even have that, man, because you can't be like a goofy and have that. I mean, you can, but it is what it is. But you can't just carry yourself a certain way and like expect that pretty much, man. It's kind of like even like that, man. It's even like what's it akin to, man? It's like it's akin to that first, even though it's kind of another thing too, like it is similar, like this that first Peter 2:20. Oh, that's a little different, but it's the fact that like a lot of times too, our people, whether in the word, out the word, like we want the Most High to do all these things for us, but and He will things in nature, but He wants us to like be the top people, but in our captivity. But this is a punishment, so like a lot of times too, we gotta like it's kind of similar to that. Like, listen, like this is a punishment, man. Like this is like most Mozart's not going to like do certain things. Well, one, yeah, it's a perfect comp. Like Most Mozart's not going to do certain things for you. Like if you're carrying, I'm saying as a collective because of course he says that in Deuteronomy 28 on 1 through 15, and different parts like Jeremiah 20:29 and Job 3:18. There's other places like listen, Proverbs 16:7. There's other places there's other places in the word saying, listen, even in the land of your physical captivity, because we're captives of sin and death, like that Job 42, we're actually the inward captivity, but the physical captivity, and that also First Esdras 8:80. There's certain things He will provide for us, even too in the word, out the word. But also too, we can't expect like certain blessings things because this is a punishment. It's the same similar to that. Like you can't be carrying yourself a certain way, but then like you want a certain type of woman. Honestly, that's what even First Peter 3 goes into. Like even like that's what Proverbs 31 woman does. Even if her man is like that, like not kind of out of pocket or kind of like on some other type of time. But let me get the second sandwich real quick though, man, because we gotta do our part of the bargain, like with that if you want that, man. Because a lot of times too, this is a little quick topic, but it's really something because I noticed as well a lot of that too. Actually, talking with brothers too, in the word and out the word, it's like like yeah, it's a certain things we have to do honestly, like because it's I always say it's the holy mirror, man. It's just like it's the it's to like how we see like our women act, the state of our women. So it's how the Most High House Child sees us, man. It's like it's the same thing, like willful, do what you want, not yeah. So that's and a lot of, and that's the thing too, That's what even like these like these the a lot of times our brothers in the manosphere, even well I don't want to say other nations because not what happens with them, but I'm really talking about our Jake for in this matter, in this instance, like talking about for our brothers, like if in the word or out the word, a lot of times our brothers in the manosphere, like the whole MGTOW or the red pill things of that nature, they got to realize that like one, like how are you acting towards your God, though, the Most High in your house, shot, like so He's not gonna like the Most High's not gonna do that when you're acting like that towards Him. Can He? Of course, I mean yeah, because I actually know certain men, brothers, like, they not in the word, but they have really good women. So yeah, that's all of the Lord. But I pray they come in the folk, pray they come in the word. But yeah, man. But I say as a collective, the Most High's Yahushua's not going to do that, man, because it's like, listen, look how you're acting towards him. You really think he's going to, like, bless us, like, with these top tier women, like, and don't get me wrong, don't, and this is not a, and two, if you are, like, a lot of times too, this is not really you get out of jail free card. This is not our women, how they act in the state of women. They're not going to be pardoned, because they gonna get punished too. They're going to get, like, the judgments as well too if you don't do that. So because a lot of times too, I notice this too a lot of times, and this is where that Proverbs 16:2 comes in. Like, a lot of times, like, the women will agree with messages like this, not just come from me, come from other brothers, because I've seen it. A message like this when, like, men are getting on other men, like, like, and they just really fully agree, and they're whole gun ho about it. They have a lot to say, but but when this comes for them, they don't. But it is what it is with that. But just letting you know, this little disclaimer: their behavior. I'm not partnering our state of our women, their behavior, or even women. Because it's the Western women, it's the women from. It's too. This is women in general, things in nature. It's not. But I'm focusing on our women. They're not being pardoned for their behavior and their conduct. But I'm just focusing on, like, how we can expect certain things. Like, if we're not holding up our end to the bargain. But yeah, man. Let me get this. 2 Samuel 23 real quick, man, because 2 Samuel 23 says, it says, he that ruleth 23 and 5. I'll start verse 5. It says, he said, 23 and 3. I'm sorry, the God of Israel, the Rock of Israel. The 2 Samuel chapter 23 and verse 3. It says, he said, the God of Israel said, the Rock of Israel, he spake to me. He that ruleth over men must be just, and ruling in the fear of Yahweh. So yeah, man, that's that. No, let's get that Sirach 27:3, because yeah, man, it just has to be faithful, because just about that faith, it has to be faithful, has to be just, has to be an upright man. And let's get in well, I never even thought about like this. Putting that right there, Sirach 27:3 right there, but that would be perfect though. Yeah, let's grab the Sirach 27:3. I might have that then there in my other thing, but let's get to Sirach 27:3. It says, yeah, unless a man hold himself, yeah, no, this is perfect, yeah. Unless a man hold himself diligent in the fear of the Lord, his house shall be overthrown. So yeah, man, not only, like, spiritually, talking about your inner man, like, your life, things of nature, but like, inward man, or just even also to the house of Israel, the state of our nation. If we're not in the fear of the Lord, we're going to be overthrown. We're being overthrown by one, sin and death, but also two, by other nations, things that nature, these circumstances that befall us, but also too, man, like even but his house, because like even his house, even amongst your household, even amongst your family. That's where that Isaiah 3:12 comes in, Jeremiah 31:22. So all that stuff coming. It's not us, like, that goes back to saying us. We had to roll in the fear of the Most High Yahusha, in obedience to his instructions, man. So, and also too, even if you out the word, like, certain way, like, certain, like, certain way you have to carry yourself, certain man you have to type of be, a man of honor you have to be, even if you want to, like, a certain type of woman, man, because that's like, you gotta do your end of the bargain, man. So let me grab this too. 2 Samuel chapter 23 and verse 3. It says, the God of Israel said, the Rock of Israel spake to me. He that ruleth men must be just, ruling in the fear of Yahweh. So yeah, let's go to 2 Samuel. Let's drop down to verse 16. It says, verse 15. And David longed and said, oh, that one would give me drink of water, of the well of Bethlehem, which is by the gate. Yeah, exactly. This is crazy, man. This is like, let me get this to yeah, because I'm about to make a point out of this too. Yeah, let me grab this. It says and David longed and said, oh, that one will give me the drink of water of the well of Bethlehem, which is by the gate. And there and three mighty men break through, and the host of the Philistines drew out water of the well of Bethlehem, and that was by the gate, and they took it and brought it to David, and nevertheless he would not drink it thereof, but he poured it out unto the Lord. So yeah, man. So Also, yeah, that's why I went to this count too, because it's just showing that dichotomy as well. Like, the first David, like, they brought, like, it also goes into that Philippians 2:7, how he house shot, like, one, he died for his namesake, but he still lived literally serving other people, like serving us, man. He lived, like, for other people as well. Because one, we see here with David, like, his army, they brought David, like, the war, they brought him order, but Yahushua brought us living water, man. He brought us, like, the word. He brought us him, like, the living water, man. He brought us that, like, as a servant. Notice how, like, they were that David, like, they came to serve and give the word of David, but son of David, he came, this just showing that balance dichotomy. He came and served the living water to us, man. But also too, like, and David poured out the water, unto the Lord, and that's that John 3:27, spiritually, for, like, what Yahweh said, a man can have nothing unless it be of the Lord, man. So, like, you give all the, and that's all he said. Listen, when they call him good, when they call him good, he said, listen, there's only one good, man. That's why I kind of came to this account. That's what kind of led me on this topic. Like, then I thought about what the brother sent me first one said. But even that though, notice, like, but notice how, like, David was he was he had to he like he was just, he was known within the gates, which I'm about to get into, you know which I'm about to get into, in Proverbs 31. But notice how he had David have, even and this is, and honestly too, David had the respect. He got, because he had respect before he became king as well. So it's not like, once he got was crowned king, he became king. He had this, he had this respect before that, man. So, like, even that, even, like, listen, even, like, I was actually reading that Sirach 29:21 earlier. Even if you, like, no matter what state you're in, man, you still have to have that. Always keep that integrity, man. Always be a man of integrity, be a man of honor, be a man of respect. Even no matter what phase, like, of life you're in, man. Honestly too, man, like, honestly too, things a lot of times too, there's a balance thing too, because people change, man. Because a lot of times too, like, that's what my pop person, my dad, like, he honestly, like, he's been remarried for, like, what, 10 a decade now, man. But when I was growing up, like, things of that nature, because my parents, they were damn divorced my whole life, but they was married, like, for a few years. But he said to me one time, like, at least when he was when I was over his house one time, with him and my stepmom, he's like, listen, I was always this way, man, but I was just going through things a lot of times. I was on drugs, I was on, I was just going through a lot during that time. So yeah, that's another thing too with that too. So, like, that's just not a because it's easier said than done, but always gotta remain, like, keep that integrity. But yeah, man, like I was going to say, I forgot what I was going to say. But yeah, notice how David, like, he had the respect though, like, he had the respect of, like, his men, like, of other men, and that's when he this is way after, of course, he got Abigail and things of that nature. But but yeah, man, just knows that as well. So, and also too, like, I want to bring this out too, because notice how, like, when you house shy at John 4, like, and here's the thing too, because a lot of women can have a problem with like, just being because this is why this new, that Jeremiah 31:22 is so key, because it's a new thing, or like, a lot of women have a problem being in subjection, man. But notice how too, in John 4, when Yahushua, like, asked for water, because he said the same thing. Like, listen, he said, give me water. That's crazy. That's just going to show you at a different time now, man. Because, like, a lot of times too, like, a lot of times too, they didn't even say please, like, because me personally, like, now in this time we say, hey, sister, can I have some water, please? But back, like, Elijah in Christ, like, when Elijah was thirsty, when that Canaanite woman, he said, listen, hey, give me some water. And when Yahushua was thirsty at the well, he said, give me some water, man. So they didn't even say please, they said, listen, give me some water. That shows you a different time period. But notice how, like, when David, like, was thirsty, like, his men had no problem to shoot. They killed them just because that's how the Most High, they love David. They just killed to give him water, things of that nature. But notice how also too, but well, on the other side, with son of David, with Yahushua, when he asked for water with the woman at the well, she was damn near arguing with him. But I said it to say too, because a lot of times too, it's like, listen, like, because a lot of times some certain women, not all women, they have a problem with certain things, like in the scriptures and Bible, where like, that's the most like cause of pause for them, because like, with the Bible, because it's such like, masculinely written things of that nature, like, and women, especially in the climate we live in, this divine feminine mother God's worship, the Jeremiah 31:22, that's gonna be a problem. That's all prophecy though, but they have a problem with that. But a lot of times too, like, this the Most High in the house, they tell men when to serve, and when to be quiet. They tell men when to serve one another, man. Because like, listen, a lot of times too, like the thing in First Timothy, like, let all women live in learn in silent subjection. What sisters have to realize, what women have to realize, what sisters have to realize is the Bible tells men when to shut up. Specifically, like men around my age, when you're amongst elder men or aged men, too. Me personally, like, I do this with an in the word or without the word, like, outside the word. Like, when you're around older men, be quiet, hold your peace. Like, shoot, you seen that with Elihu. Psalm 32 goes into that, man. So a lot of times, too, they just really have to realize that, too. It's not really like, but it is what it is. I just wanted to bring that out. But, yeah, man. But yeah, let me grab this Second Samuel again. But no, let's go Proverbs, man. But we notice how, like, David had the respect. David was a well respected man even before he became king. Like that, his fame actually grew. Like, after the whole Goliath, like after he killed Goliath, after he slayed Goliath, that's when his fame grew. His name started to get, his prominence, his rise started to come. But let's grab this Proverbs 31, man, because like, and notice how they no, let's read 2 Samuel 23, 16 one more time. It says, and three mighty men break through the host of the Philistines and drew out water at Bethlehem that was by the gate, and took it and brought it to David. Nevertheless, he would not drink thereof. He poured out unto the Lord. Exactly. So, let's get this Proverbs 30 real quick, 31. It's crazy that I said by the gate, and what we're about to read. Proverbs 31 and verse and 23. No, it's this too. Her husband, Proverbs 31 and 23, is her husband is known in the gates when he sits among the elders in the land. So yeah, man, it's like a certain level of respect. Like, those that have that Proverbs 31 woman, they have, like, there's certain level of respect and honor, a man of integrity, just, faithful, just, upright men of integrity have, like, they have respect of other men amongst the elders, and amongst other men. So to get that Proverbs 31 woman. So a lot of times when, like, you ask for that too, but you gotta hold up in the bargain. You gotta make sure. No, I'm not saying you. I'm saying us. Like, we had to. I'm sorry. Keep saying that you. Not you Hakusho. I got you Hakusho t-shirt on, but jersey on. But yeah, man. Not to not to go into that, but yeah, man, that's just a certain level of the a way in the decorum we had to carry ourselves too as well. For you asking for that as well, a certain way, certain things we had to do, honestly, because I'm not absolved from none of that as well. But yeah, man, certain things we have to do. Even if you want something like that, man, because and here's the thing too. Let me say this too. Because a Proverbs 31 woman, that's like, you can have a good woman. There's nothing wrong with the good one. But, Proverbs 31 is a creme de la creme. It's the same with a faithful man. It's the same with faith. It's the same with faith. Like, not everybody has the faith of Yahushua, like, Abraham. And this goes back to that measure that we always talk about. Or Yahushua, Abraham, Job, even Moses, not everybody has that level of faith. Things that nature different, because was like, but Isaiah, Ezekiel, Jeremiah, Jonah, Tobit, Sirach, you name them. You name Zechariah, Amos, Habakkuk, Haggai, things, and these men weren't like, these men got genealogies in heaven. These men are like, but these men were righteous, like, way more righteous than I'll ever be. But but they didn't have that level of faith of Abraham or faith of Yahushua. But that doesn't mean it was bad. Sometimes it's like okay, and that goes into what we always talk about. Like everybody doesn't have to check every box. Like the Most High in Yahushua give you certain measures. So that is what is it. That's and this is the same thing with a faithful man or a faithful woman, or things of that nature, or or like a form of like a virtuous woman, because the virtuous woman is pretty much that faithful woman. But but you might have a good good woman. That's fine too, man. Because like the Proverbs 31 is top shelf, creme de la creme. That's the 5-star. That's 10 out of 10. That's what the virtuous Proverbs 31 virtuous woman. It's just like it is for for a faithful man. But just like nothing wrong being just good, having that good high level of faith as well. So that's the same thing too. That's what people have to realize about that. But yeah, then let's get to Proverbs 31 and 23 says her husband is known in the gates when he sits among the elders in the land. So yeah, man, there's a certain level of respect. But also too, man, let's get like First Samuel, like going into Abigail, and they like First Samuel in First Samuel 25. But because a lot of times too, you like Nabal has you might have a lame, a sucker, or a goofy, or a wicked man having that having that virtuous woman, having that proper woman, because Nabal had it, and he was like, he was just on some other type of time, man. He was just a goofy, man. He was just a lame. He was he was on some other stuff, man. But he had a one because Abigail feared the Lord, and Abigail did what that First Peter 3 says. She lived by that. So, but and this goes into, that Sirach 13, where every flesh cleave to his like, because it's too that David and Abigail, they were kind of like, in the sense I speak as a man, kind of meant to be together, honestly, because they had kindred spirits, because it wasn't like wasn't David obedient to a wicked man and Saul? He served under him. Wasn't Abigail obedient to a wicked man served under him? Because they both had that fear of the Lord, and it was in their spirit. So that's probably David probably, I'm being spiritual. I'll speak as a man. David probably saw it like, okay, wow, she's beautiful. Wow, dang, she's bad. But it was probably like the fact that she was obedient to some even obedient to a man that that wasn't righteous, pretty much. Because if you read the previous chapter, 1 Samuel 24. David spared Saul's life, so he probably understood that. I'm just kind of reading between the lines, speaking as a man, but it is what it is, man. But yeah, man, that's just is what it is. Because sometimes you even in the word, outside the word, you might have a man that's that's like that, or a woman or a man that has that type of good woman. It's like, damn, how the hell did he? But it's probably, I don't know, he's probably like charming, quote unquote charming, that first time they met, or did she? What it is too. A lot of times women like that, they always they kind of lie to themselves. Not saying this happened with Abigail and Nabal. I mean, but Abigail and Nabal and Abigail. Not saying it's happening this, but a lot of times too, like women, they they see they met the guy for the first time, and he's pretty he's like first couple of times they met, things in nature, he's pretty good, but then she realizes who he actually is, and then they try to lie to himself, and or they try to convince themselves and try to get that thinking that person is going to come back when they're not. That's why now that's when that Maya Angelou quote comes in, when people show you who they are, just believe them, and they kind of have a hard time wrapping their mind around that. It's like, okay, when I first met him, he was it was good, but now this is actually who he is. But then they kind of, I seen that happen too, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, man. But a lot of times too, you can but a good woman is just of the Lord as well, because there's that Proverbs 18 and 22 in the good news. He says, find a wife and you find a good thing. It shows you that the Lord is good to you. So yeah, man. So the Most High can give you that. Most High can give you that woman. He can give you that one. He can give that woman, that type of woman, to a wicked man. I seen that happen. So that's is what it is, man. But but the part Most High can give you just a good one. He can just, hey, that's up to him, man. But as long as you rule in the fear of the Most High, even sometimes brothers outside the word, that happens, man. So pray they come in. Pray that all of our people come in the word. But find a wife and you find a good thing, and it shows that the Lord's good to you. So yeah, man. But let me get to say this too, man, because a lot of times too, like even this happened, like with like a lot of times too, because this happens in cycle. Like we see, that's why we see what we see going on now. Like that's why, like in the ancient world, that's even in the law, was so important for like a woman in the law. It was so important for a woman to be with one man unless like her husband dies, because like now when you like when you jump man to man to man, you have like different experience after different experience after different experience. So you got different spirits on you, got different things in that nature. So and that a lot and that's a lot of times too. Like the brothers, somebody the first one said, man, you try to create a man that don't exist. Like since you want a damn Frankenstein, like you want a hood scholar, like but he's but he works at Wall Street, and then he goes to church on Sundays and all this stuff like that. That man don't exist. So that's what happened. So that's why like it was so important. That's why the Most High. Actually, I was talking about this one pop yesterday, man. That's why like when the world doesn't follow what the Most High house shall laid out, it's gonna be like that, man. Because and this is just another instance of that, man. Because then like that's why it was important. Because like most of the time, those women back in those days were just focused on pleasing that man, like being a good woman for that man. But that's just is what it is too. But let me say this too, because a lot of times too, like we notice that we notice how a lot of times we notice a lot, and we see a lot too. I know by experience, like seeing with like homies of mine, like my actual brothers, just talking different brothers, whether in the word out the word, like and like they women, they run off and they ruin the relationship. Then they get older and saying and blaming men or not being accountable, things of that nature. But a lot of times too, I've seen this happen a lot of times. Like depending on like that's why I'm doing this video about like holding up. It's crazy we're at 31 minutes, but holding up your end of the bargain, because a lot of times too, I seen what you call them, I seen men get away from men, like get rid of some good women, man, through their conduct, man. Honestly, it's not always that. Just and also too, not just don't just get rid of good people, man. Like in your life, don't. But there's a lot of times that has happened, man. Like quiet as kept. There's a lot of times like and this is too another thing too, because like here's the thing too with a lot of sisters too. They gonna think that and I'm not talking about every woman. I'm not talking about that for most. If a sister watching there, that does well, they know who they are if you're watching. But I'm not talking about that. But because a lot of times women will hear about what I'm about to bring out, or I've seen this a lot of times too. It's just not talking about every woman, but there's certain times like men like get ruined things, like ruined it, like and it's like damn man, and then you look kind of like damn bro, she was kind of good for you, man. Why you kind of ruined that? But let's get to Sirach chapter 28, because this is what it's about. Yeah, because it's just talking about the being double tongued and things of that nature, being backbiter and murmuring things of that nature. But this is going to a dishonorable man, like conduct, how it I'm just gonna read it. All right, this is Sirach, Ecclesiastes chapter 28. Ecclesiastes also known Sirach chapter 28 and verse 13. It says, "Curse the whisper and the double tongue, for such as destroyed many are at peace." Well, here's the point. A backbite tongue hath disquieted many, and driven them from nation to nation, and it hath pulled down and overthrown the houses of great men. Verse 15, here's the point. It says, a backbiting tongue hath cast out virtuous women, and deprived them of their labor. So yeah, man. So it's not only going to backbiting tongue and like being backbiter, like murmuring, or just being double tongue, like being a whisperer, things, and it's also too. Well, yeah, this is all conducts of like just being dishonorable men, pretty much, man. And that, but notice how verse 15 says it had cast out like virtuous women, man. That's that Proverbs 31 woman, man. It's got like, because a lot of times too, like in the word or in the word, even out the word, man. I've seen sometimes like I know somebody kind of like I ain't gonna go into it. I was like, damn, bro, you kind of messed that up. She was kind of good. Like, she, they, because of course everybody, like, everybody has their things. Of course, we all have ways about us, but it's like, listen, this is like, it's all for pretty much, like the Bird Chronicles you said, like, especially women of what you're going to tolerate. Because a lot, that's what I was mentioning too. I was talking about this, actually on Saturday night when I was working, with a coworker of mine. He's going into like, because there's a certain like, somebody that comes there, like, and she's just like, there's a certain patron that comes to the theater that I work at, and she's just like, oh my gosh, she's just a lot. But her husband even does it, like, doesn't even you know damn near listen to her like that. She's the one of those, like, oh my gosh. Anyway, she's one of those women that, oh my gosh, just overbearing. But anyway, but we just talking about it too, because we're like, she's kind of a regular at the theater, things of that nature. But also too, he's talking about, I was like, yeah, man, it's like, um, yeah, he said people back then, like, they were just married a long time, and it's like, yeah, like the Bird Chronicles you said, it's like being like that married, it's like, it's off of what you can ignore and let slide, because a lot of things too, you just gotta, if you want, and too, a lot of things too, and that goes into the things I always talk about, like, people aren't going to do, like, everything. You just gotta learn how to let certain things slide and ignore certain things, man, because that's how, like, things, like, that's in any relationship, any rapport stays together a long time. Actually, I was talking about that with my brother last week. He's like, listen, man, okay, certain things he does, like, no, it is like, certain things I do, I do, he doesn't like, but certain things uh, uh that he does, like, I know that's just him. Like, listen, you don't have to ignore that, and then people replace that now with being that quote unquote toxic or things that nature. No, they do something you don't like, just like certain things, let it slide. Let it slide. It's like, depending on what extreme it is, just let it slide. So yeah, man, that's just is what it is there, man. So that's how, like, most of the time those couples that know most of our grandparents, the previous generations, they stayed together so long, because it's like they managed how to do that. Now, it wasn't always peachy clean. It wasn't all the peaches and cream things, and it wasn't always perfect, of course. Things that you probably never know about. But yeah, man, this just is what it is too. Like, gotta learn how to ignore certain things. But yeah, man. But I said to say, man, because a lot of times too, like, there has been, like, certain men, like, they ruin something. They ruin something, like, with something with a good woman, man. It's like, and sometimes depending on that woman, uh depending on that woman, like, how good she is, or how, like, she'll probably, like, how much that they actually love you. That's a woman that really love you, when she'll actually, like, come back, like, yeah. And plus, certain times, here's certain things too, because they, let me say, I know I'll keep talking, but it's not good, especially like when certain, like, men are going through something, when brothers were going through something. It's not good to have a woman in there, man. And that's why I actually talked to one of my students last year about that. Even though, like, even though, listen, I'm not a father, I'm not a guardian, or whatever. Like, the whole even dating thing, she was like, what, she's a junior now, or she's a junior now, I believe, things, and that she's going through, like, how her quote unquote boyfriend were going through a hard time and things of that nature, or she just felt like, it was something going on with that. But I was like, listen, sweetie, like, you might just want to leave him alone, because when, like, men are going through something, even though I think he's like 18 or something, like, it's best that like, they like a woman not be in the picture, man, because that's a lot of times too. Like, that can happen too a lot of times. Like, oh, man can just be going through some, or the rough patch in his life. Like, had a good woman, and it's like, you know, and he, like, from his behavior, from his like, from a situation, it just, like, she's ended up leaving. It just had to just what you call them, things happen. But but a lot of times too, but now if she, like, doesn't, like, like, I'm saying this out the word, things of that nature, or even in the word, but if she doesn't come back, if he was going through a rough patch and things of that nature, and depending on how much you were acting, things that help, like, how you're conducting yourself, you kind of had to wear that. If you, like, once you get your things together, it might be some years, months, and well, not probably some years, a while, time passes over, and she kind of, like, once she finds somebody else, then that's is what it is. I'm saying more out the word, because amongst the laws, all this stuff shouldn't be happening. But I'm just saying, just in general. But you gotta wear that. But two, like, if she does come back, man, like, you gotta hold on to that, man, too, man. Especially that Proverbs 31, just that level of good of a woman, man. But I say that to say, man, because I said, I'm just talking circles now, but I said to say, man, like, if you want that Proverbs 31, a lot of times, like, or that good woman, that, like, 5-star, that crumb dot top shelf woman, like, there's certain things we had to do as men, man. So, like, certain ways we had to hold up our end of the bargain as well, man. So hopefully this is edifying, man. So peace.